Coming off back-to-back blowout losses, one against the Cowboys and another last episode against the Kansas City Chiefs, the Panthers fan base has been very clear of their distaste of these two games, especially last episode against the Chiefs, where they were straight up booing us while we were out on the field. We have to make changes, we have to get the fans back on our side, and we have to get back on track. Luckily for us, though, we do open divisional play this game, and coming at a really good time, coming off really bad last couple games. Luckily, our division is also pretty bad. This is where I see us having our most amount of success, as the top three teams are all 1 and 2. We play the Buccaneers, they're at the top of the division currently, but like I said, we have the same record, just slightly above the worst team in our league, the Saints, who are 0 and 3. Now, unfortunately, we will be without Grover Stewart in this game. He did suffer a shoulder strain in practice, but we're actually the healthier team. The Buccaneers will be without Shaq Barrett, Cade Otton, and Trey Palmer, all of which are starters for him and pretty key starters for him. So that is on our side. As for the roster that will actually be out there playing, the Buccaneers are in a rebuild just as we are, and they have a new quarterback in Ryan Tannehill. They've moved on from Baker Mayfield, and they have not given it to the rookie in Ramon Aragon yet. So it will be Ryan Tannehill out there, and he still has some ability. Throw power isn't fantastic. He's got some decent short accuracy. I expect a lot of their play to be pretty short, but he's still a mobile guy. So we need our edge guys that have struggled to contain today. At running back, they still have Rachaad White. We know he could be a really good running back, especially if he's given space. As for receivers, the top two are still there in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. The third is going to be Russell Gage today due to the injury to Trey Palmer, who they did have starting last season over Gage, though Gage still got pretty involved. At tight end, obviously they're missing their number one guy there, so it's going to be the rookie in Laren Holiday and Payne Durham. They might also have to play a little bit of their fullback in Ryan Nall at the tight end spot. Now, where we have struggled significantly this season is against teams with good trenches. And they start off with a really good left tackle in Tristan Wirfs. He's of 94 overall. Though it's going to be a step down when we get into the interior, at least at left guard. Lincoln Tomlinson, just a 75. Their backup in Matt Filer, 72. At center, a step back up with Ryan Jensen, an 86. Then another step back down, Graham Glasgow at a 75. At right tackle, they do have Luke Godecki, shout out to the Michigan State Only Challenge, he's a 76, and they do have a rookie in Wes Jackson that they could maybe potentially get involved. Linemen have gotten injured for both teams in pretty much every single one of our games this season, so we very well might see some rotation. As for the defensive line, another spot where we have struggled, they have a really promising young talent in Kalijah Kancey out of Pittsburgh. He's an 80 overall at 23 years old. At right end, Logan Hall, 73 overall, not going to be as impactful, at least we hope. But then right down the middle, they do have Vita Vea, and he's always a problem, up at a 90 overall. As for their linebackers, they do have Tryon Shoyinka, who has, I feel like, played pretty well whenever we've gone against the Buccaneers. He's a 78. Down the middle, you do have Devin White and Quan Alexander. On the right-hand side, they are missing Shaq Barrett, so we might see a little bit of Anthony Nelson, or perhaps they go with one of the other outside backers in Yaya Diaby, second-year player out of Louisville. The corners, pretty solid group. Jameel Dean, always a solid guy. Carlton Davis III, pretty solid guy. And then in the slot, they're going to have a rookie out of Oklahoma State in Junior McCann. He was a guy who I had some interest in the draft, but he was more of a zone style. He's a hidden dev, definitely has the zone. It's an 80, lacks that real day one press ability and man coverage. So if we could get the slot going today, that'll definitely help out. As for their safeties, they still have Antoine Winfield Jr., really good guy, and then Ryan Neal over at strong safety. So this team has its weaknesses, but so does ours. To this point of the season, Bryce Young, just 840 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 4 of those touchdowns came in week 1, when he was the NFC Player of the Week. After that, he's played extremely poorly. That's where most of these interceptions have come from. And he's also had a couple fumbles as well. When he scrambles, he's looking okay, but the passing has just been off. There's been pass rush getting to him occasionally, but it's not all the pass rush. On top of that, defensively, we have struggled to get sacks this year. We are averaging less than 1 a game. The only players to have any sacks, Grover Stewart, who's not going to be in this game due to that shoulder strain, he has 1.5, and Tristan Hill has a half. We haven't had any pressure from the edge outside of Wanham having a few hurries, no sacks, so we're going to be making another change at that spot today. Last episode, we gave Kingsley Enagbar a chance to show what he could do, and he did not record a single stat. Not a solo tackle, assisted tackle, tackle for loss, sack. I mean, anything besides just snaps played. He didn't do a thing. So we're going to give the rookie a chance. Braxton Fitzgerald, a 69 overall, is going to get the go. He has some finesse ability, that is a 76. He struggles in block shed. So if we don't see much from him, we could definitely go back to Gross Matos, who does have both power moves and some block shed, but he also didn't do too much with his time out there. We're going to give it to the rookie, see what he could do. And one last thing before we get into the game, just want to do one quick shameless shout out. Normally, I would have the drop down banner go over on the side saying, hey, subscribe at the beginning. Do just want to go ahead and say, go ahead and subscribe. If you guys have been around for a little bit, watch some episodes, or if you're brand new and you enjoy the episode, do hit that subscription button either down below or that bell icon on the bottom right. It's completely free, and we're closing in on 1,000 subscribers. I want to say by the time we're recording this, we're about 90 away. So if you enjoy, do go ahead, hit that button down below. But enough of the shameless shout outs. Let's go ahead and actually jump into today's divisional game on the road, taking on the Buccaneers. Prime time divisional play is underway. As this one gets booted off, it's Sims going to take the touchback. He nearly returned the opening kickoff for us last week. He got stopped, and that was about as much as the offense did the entire first half. And what makes it worse is that's actually special teams, not even offense. That was just how bad, how many chances we missed out on. But we're going to focus in on some running game today as Chuba Hubbard breaks to the outside, jukes back to the inside, and has to ensure he picks up the first gain of 11. Over the last couple games, the passing game has gotten away from us. We've gotten away from what we truly are supposed to be, which is short, quick passing. We've stretched out the field a good bit, as that's a really good stop from Vita Vea. But the statement was true. We've gotten away from what we were supposed to do. We've gone with a lot more medium, even deep passing, trying to reel things back in as we try to reel in the defense with a couple runs. That one goes to Akers, picks up 4. Now, obviously, we're not going to get away from passing entirely, but we need to get back to what this team is truly built for, which is these short, quick pass games, occasionally trying to take a middle shot if needed. Tommy Tremble, first catch, goes for a first. And hopefully attacking the defense in this manner will help out Bryce Young a little bit, restore some of his confidence. He's definitely had issues, as that's a really good tackle from the big boy off the edge in Nelson. Chuba still ends up picking up 4 on the play. But that's kind of what this offense needs to get back to. Just those short, quick passing games, get the running game going, especially with how much better the offensive line has been running the ball. Which, in a way, is kind of contradictory to the way of which they're designed. This offensive line is, for the most part, very much a pass-heavy offensive line. But we've just seen a whole lot better play right down the middle as we find Corbett as a lead blocker down to the 31. Now, there's definitely been some speculation about injuries with Bryce Young, and that has been the cause of the lack of throwing ability that we've seen from him in the past couple games. He did suffer some back spasms in week 1, and since then he has had his struggles. So if we could keep him clean, then maybe we'll see some better throws. As it's 2nd and 4, we're down to the 25. Looking for some play action, rolling, try to get this one a little bit way too far downfield. That was intended for Chenault. And that's just a prime example of some of the bad throws we've seen from Young over the last couple games. 3rd and 4, need to convert here. We got some options open up across the middle. Instead, Young just gonna slide with the first down to the 16. Limiting our chances to turn balls over is definitely needing to be a forefront. We've had a lot of turnovers the last couple weeks, whether they're fumbles or interceptions. Taking those chances away will definitely help out. Just going with a run like what we see their gain of 4. It really just comes about being smarter with this team because we don't necessarily have all the talent like some of the teams we had played against recently. So we just have to not risk what we don't have to, as I'm pretty sure Bryce Young steps out of bounds there rather than throwing it away. So you could definitely count that more as a risk that did not work out well for us. As we're going to send Jennings on a slant rather here. Mingo maybe to that front pylon depending on how the outside corner reacts. Or having to step up here, Young puts on a juke and there goes the football. Once again, Bryce Young coughs it up in the red zone. That is at least once in the last 3 games, every time in the last 3 games where he's done this. In last week's contest versus the Chiefs, we had opportunity after opportunity to get scores. We were in the red zone 3 times in that, as we nearly get the interception to the outside with Cash. But in that first half, we were inside the red zone 3 times with opportunities to score, and we kept missing out. And that definitely kept us from having anywhere close to coming back in that game, as we do not get the tackle. It's a foot race, and Godwin's gonna win it. Those tight coverages, we can't hang. And it'll end up going down as another time where our opponent capitalized off of our own mistake. It just keeps stacking up as we start our second drive. We look for a jet sweep to the outside. Jennings goes nowhere. Back to the line of scrimmage. So it's definitely safe to say that through the first 3 games, this team has lost its identity. What it truly does best as that run actually loses a yard. So despite the success the team saw last season and a little bit in week 1, it was still a closer game in week 1, they are scrambling right now as we look for Hayden Hurst, who is going to speed down the sideline, getting the edge on Winfield Jr. and picking up a clutch first down for us. This team really has become a tight end first kind of mentality, and also running back, but through the passing game more often than not. If we could get the pass out to them, it would be nice to get at least a little bit of a chip block in there on Vita Vea before they would go out on their actual duties to get to the outside, but clearly that's not what happens. We check down here going back to the tight end and Hayden Hurst, who gets picked up and slammed down by 2 of the linebackers. The good thing for us is he's been able to take a pretty good beating continuously. As we get the play off before the end of the quarter, trying to bounce to the outside, Hubbard with a nice gain there on 3rd down, gets us to the 37 as we will take a break to end the quarter. And while there was plenty of good in that first quarter, it was really highlighted by the fumble in the red zone and then getting beat one-on-one again on defense. Have to find a way to clean that up and have to find a way to have a cleaner pocket. It'll definitely help out as we go back Hayden Hurst across the middle. He'll pick up at least 9.5, close to 10. And if he's on your fantasy, pretty good game as he's already had 3 catches in this one. As we go with the draw, had to bounce around a little bit, but Hubbard picks it up. We're definitely going to be moving Hubbard around a lot to try to get him involved in multiple different ways, as we do with the wide receiver screen here. Try to get back to the middle, find some extra blocking, will be a gain of 5. Essentially trying to use some of these dink and dunk plays to rebuild the confidence of Young, because he can throw these pretty accuracy. He also doesn't have tremendous throw power. As we try to get this one out, Mingo's coming in, but it's just a little bit too far out in front. The blitz definitely threw that one off. But unfortunately, it was also the blitz that helped open it up. We just got to have those plays a little bit tighter. 3rd and 5, we stay spread. We have Chuba Hubbard going on the out route to the left-hand side. Mingo on the quick stop. We've got several options. As we go for Mingo, it's a bad throw again. And a second turnover in the red zone for Young. you've got to be able to put that on your man. That clearly was not where the stop route was going to be. It's just a bad throw. And I'm sure the defense is getting tired of having to bail out these turnovers, not that they've done it all too often. As White tries to find some space down the middle, we'll pick up 2. There has also been a little bit of some call to see the first draftee of this Panthers series at linebacker replacing Jones. Now, the other linebacker does not have much zone or even man cover as Rachaad White breaking all the tackles. Fitzgerald in pursuit, but he does not have the speed. Horn dives, and it's another massive play given up by the defense and a 14-0 score line for the Bucs. And if this offense is to see them regain their team here, it feels like it's going to have to go through Hubbard, who's really been the only one doing much consistently today outside of a decent pass or two to Hayden Hurst. But we have to throw the ball a little bit. We can't just run the ball. As we try to get to the outside here, it's off the top of Shoyinka's head, then he tips it back, nearly caught by Hayden Hurst, but it hits the ground. He just got to find something that works for him, and when it does work, because we've gotten down to the red zone, we just have to stop turning the ball over. As we look to scramble here, Young bouncing to the outside. He gets a good block from Hayden Hurst and scrambles out at the 45. Every time he tucks to run, you hold your breath, and not necessarily because it might be a big play, at least for you, but that time it does end up being a big one. As we get Herbert to the outside, we don't pick up the second block there from Jennings, but the first was really good. Especially really good for Herbert, who was able to just find a small little gap to get through that line. They bring down the press coverage this time, and it's another interception from Young, and this is going to be a pick 6. White gets away. Mingo is trying to get back there, but at the 10-5, it's a touchdown. Pick 6 for Devin White. It's a good thing we're not at home right now. I would hate to see what the fan base would be doing to Young at the sideline. And I'm sure no one expected this, but Andy Dalton coming out to lead the offense as we've had 3 first half turnovers. Chuba Hubbard trying to do what he can, tries to get the juke, will pick up an extra couple yards, and it's gotta be him today. Clearly the offense is not working with Bryce Young out there right now. He's sitting at the sideline. Hopefully this benching ends up sparking something in him, but for right now, it's Andy Dalton. And if this team is to see some good play, we're also going to need everyone else to step up. Receivers got to get open, make things easy for our quarterback. As we swing this one out, it is Hubbard who's not going to fully get away from Neal, but he does pick up the first. And with us having to go to the running back so much, probably expect to see a little bit more of Cam Akers today as he comes out here. Looking for a run down the middle. It's just read extremely well from White. The line just needs to do a much more consistent job of getting to the secondary, or second and third levels. When we have done that, we've made the big plays. As we are inside the 2-minute warning, need some points here before halftime. Looking for a little bit of some play action. As they send the blitz quick off the edge, it's going to be a sack for Tryon Shoyinka. If we were to get into field goal range, we need around the 40. We got spread wide here, got 3 to the right, 1 to the left. Hard count. Hubbard jumps. It was already 3rd and 17. Now going to be 3rd and 22 as they come out with a double A gap look here, leaving him pretty much man v man everywhere else. They do drop back into coverage, trying to find somewhere to go, looking for a back shoulder to Jennings, and it's just too tall, knocked away by Davis. So with that, we have to punt once again, and that leaves about 1 minute 15 seconds for this Tampa Bay offense to try to find some more points before half, and we've given up the big plays today, that is for sure. Tackling hasn't been too clean, to say the least. And on top of that, no pass rush today at all. Fitzgerald nor Wanham has been able to get back there. Any interior pass rush, non-existent either. Now, we at least expected the pass rush to be a problem going into the season. We weren't really able to address it in the offseason. But coverage wasn't expected to be as big of a problem, and it's gaping right now as Gage finds a bunch of space. Luckily, he steps out of the 42. And right now, Tampa needs maybe 5 more yards, and they'll be in field goal range. Still with some timeouts. Definitely in field goal range now. Gage gets them down to the 15. Tampa just moving at will in this one. If they could get a touchdown, it would be a 4-score game at halftime. That is how bad this game has turned into as they go. Evans, who luckily gets clobbered at the goal line. They're down to the 1. They still have a timeout, though. They have not elected to use it. As they go with a run down the middle, there's a fantastic stop from the rookie D lineman in Sweat. He was an undrafted UDFA, getting a chance to have a little bit of playtime today due to the injury to our main guy in Grover Stewart down the middle. As Tannehill looking to scramble, shakes off the tackle, makes it 4 touchdowns in the first half, most of which coming off of turnovers. That will take us to halftime, where we have a whole lot of work to do. The offense moved. It got down to the red zone 3 times, in which we had turnovers. Every single time, Tampa scored off of it. That's the difference in this game. If those didn't happen, we could very much be in the lead right now. But as we start our second half here, it's defense out first, and we need the defense to make some big plays. Because right now, the offense, they can't do it all themselves. Defense has given up big plays. It has not all been the offense who hasn't performed, as we give up nearly a first down on play 1. And with that, we're going to try a little something here. We're bringing in Hodgins, the rookie, our first selection, to have a little bit of some linebacker play as they find a pass right across the middle going to Evans. He's going to be out there at least in the base formations. And we're just going to need secondary guys to step up, make some plays, especially CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's the highest overall of any of our DBs. He's got to make the plays. We also need to tackle. If we could do that, we could definitely limit some of the yards gained. Right now, Ryan Tannehill is 9 of 10. We haven't given him any problems today, and that's definitely been a problem. And maybe, cover. CJ, don't step off the guy. We need close coverage here. We need our guys, when they're covering, to be close, and we need them to actually swat some passes away. We need them to start making plays instead of giving up plays, relying on guys to just drop the ball. There we go! Isaiah Oliver with a swat, second incomplete pass of the day. If those are the plays we gotta hype up, those are the plays we're gonna hype up. Get this team a little bit of some confidence again. As it's 2nd and 10, will be another throw to the outside. Cash with a quick tackle. There we go. The rookie trying to make some plays here. Get us going as we're close to the red zone here. We got to hold here. Give up a field goal, fine. That's an improvement. With a quick slant, it's caught. But not enough for the first down. They give 4th and inches. Right now, I feel like the semi-pro movie with Will Ferrell. Got to hype up for, 7th place? That's what we're looking for here. As the defense does bow up, we give up our first field goal. First time we don't give up a touchdown today. As the offense heads back out, Chuba Hubbard, the main guy for us in that first half. We have Young back out there. He has the best arm because we got to get this ball downfield as he throws it out of bounds. He had Hubbard. He was wide open. Young, I don't know what's going on with him. But right now, he's our best quarterback on roster, so we got to get him going. Coming across, trying to get this one over the top for Chenault, and just great coverage on that one, not necessarily on Young. But we got to find ways to get some completions. Get this offense moving. We got 2 spread either side. Maybe look for a play downfield, perhaps. We get Chenault on a out route to the line. Maybe that could get things opened up here. Get a nice release to the outside. It's just, why is there so much loft on that? It's complete. It's a first down, but put a little bit of some mustard on it. This isn't college anymore, Young. You got to step up. You showed promise in our first season, half a season, really. We need to see more of it as he gets sacked through the blocker. It's a loss of 2 from Vita Vea. And you can definitely tell there that Young is dealing with some discomfort. Whether it's shoulder or back problems, kind of hard to tell. Goes the RPO to the outside, and it's also a loss of 1. We're definitely dealing with a much different Panthers team than what we had last season. As it's 3rd and long, we get Hubbard towards the sideline, and it's caught, but it's out of bounds. Once again, led too far. We'll have to punt. Well, I would love to know who you're placing bets on. Who's going to make the big play here on defense? We haven't had a sack yet, haven't had an interception, forced fumble. Who's going to have the first big play? Honestly, Tannehill probably just had it there for us. He had Godwin sitting wide open, just missed the mark. Looks like he was watching a little bit too much of Young's previous drive. As they go with White, trying to find some space, and there's a good stop from the linebackers. It's still a gain of 3, but that's well better than what we've seen before. We just got to make sure we finish off here. 3rd and 7. They got a bunch over to the right-hand side. 2 options going to the left. They check down, and it's just a bad one from Tannehill. So if both quarterbacks are playing bad, at least that means that neither quarterback is good. And if that's the case, maybe Young won't get ragged on so much. As we're back out here on offense, defense, they kind of got the stop. But we got to get this offense moving as Vita Vea just swatted down a screen pass. How are we letting that big boy rumble faster than we could set up a screen? Gotta do better offense. As we need something here. Young is just gonna step up, scramble to the outside. If he's gotta be a running back, he's gonna be a running back for us. We're over to the 40. And I'm pretty sure I just saw the coach there shove Young. He's probably gonna get suspended for the rest of the season. 1st and 10. Look for the quick throw, going to Hayden Hurst, who breaks the 1 tackle, and will fight forward for a couple extra. That's what we need. If we could build upon that, even better. They switch to a single high safety, shade the line to the left-hand side. We might just need to get a quick pass to the outside. I actually cover that one pretty well. Young scrambling forward to limit the loss to 4 as he ate Hull's shoulder. But I'll give Young some credit. He's definitely fighting through some pain out there. We've got about a minute left here in the 3rd. Need to find a big play somewhere. Coming across, out to Jennings, who does not hold on to it. He got it there, but he couldn't quite squeeze it. And that'll leave us with another 3rd and long. We've had quite a few of these already today. We got some short routes, got a couple, one developing and just one deep. See who's going to find themselves open. Well, it's Chuba Hubbard. As we get it out to him, he gets clobbered by McCann. And Bryce Young and is not getting up as easily this time. So I feel like that makes it pretty clear Bryce Young has definitely been dealing with injuries. Andy Dalton comes back out. We need him here. 4th and 11. First down for us is around the 17-yard line. As we have an option coming across, we do find Hayden Hurst, who gets picked up and slammed down again. But he holds on to it. We got a first down. Let's get back to it quickly. Want a touchdown here before the end of the quarter. Or not to get sacked again by Vita Vea, but it happens anyway. As a former defensive lineman, I love it. Head coaching this team, I hate it. As we get the snap off just before the end of the quarter, got a guy coming across. It's Jennings, and he could have had the corner and maybe even 6 there. But the pass was off. We head into the 4th. We're down 31 points. We scored 10 against the Cowboys and 14, I believe, last week. I just want something here against a much lesser team. As we go to the outside, it is overthrown again. At this point, we might need to fire our quarterback coach and bring someone else in. 4th and 14. First down is at the 5. We got deep routes, because that's what we need. A deep play, as we have Hayden Hurst, and he's into the end zone. Of all people, of course, it's the tight end on this team. We finally get one in, and it's with Andy Dalton after Bryce Young is shaken up. Now, if we could have some big plays coming in from our defense, maybe get this game moving a little bit more, that would be fantastic. As they hand it off, it's Rachaad White, and it's a first down on play 1. He hasn't had to run the ball much, just 5 times, and he already has 88 yards and a touchdown. Clearly, we need more from this defensive line. We need more from the linebackers, as there's the first tackle on the year and in the career of the rookie. Hodgins out there due to the just lack of big plays we've seen. We're just throwing guys out there, see who can make the play, as there's the other rookie in Stockton bringing up a 3rd down. And it's here where we could get off the field. They just need 2. They got a bunch. As they go with a play action, they pick up the blitz well, but it's a bad throw again from Tannehill. They're not in field goal range. Defense gets another stop. And Bryce Young is trying to fight through the pain. He's coming back out, but we're starting back deep in our own territory. Trying to get the halfback screen out, with which we do. Chuba Hubbard puts a move on one and then gets kind of high-load from a couple different defenders, but we pick up some space. We need a whole lot more, as we're about 5.5 minutes and counting. They send a blitz to the left-hand side. We look for Mingo, trying to get this one over the top, and it's a couple yards short. Though I do have to say, definitely not one of his worst throws on the day. 2nd and 10, sticking with a bunch to the right-hand side. Hurst lone to the left. Gonna move out to the right. We have Jennings, and it was close. Just not enough arm strength to get it there quick enough. But the pass itself was a pretty good one. It was on the money. 3rd and 10. Need to pick up a first down here. Hard count, no one moves. As we're just gonna end up scrambling here. Young lowers the shoulder, trucks through 2 defenders, and just edges out the first down. He's fighting through a rib injury right now and trying to make it seem like it's not as big of a deal probably as it is. Going back to the screen, we get at least one blocker out in front. Hubbard slips one and pick up 5. Need to just keep this train moving here. Want at least another touchdown before the end of this. If we could get a stop and then another touchdown, all the better. A lot of bump coverage there. Refs letting them get away with a lot of tugging. Well, that brings up probably one of our most manageable 3rd downs of the day. 3rd and 5. Though a hard count, it looks like Ekwonu moved. This team's just not comfortable if it's not a 3rd and long. So we make it one. 3rd and 10. As we have a couple options coming across the middle. Hurst going to the outside, a deep shot as well. As we're just going to look to scramble once again. Young takes the pounding. Makes it 4th and 8. Now, there's just no quit in him. No matter how bad he's played in the last couple weeks, I'll say he just keeps going. As we get the first down here to Chenault Jr., we stay spread, getting back out there right away. We got a bunch over to the left-hand side, 2 to the right. We got 2 high safeties. If we could split the safeties with Jennings, although it looks like they're kind of keeping the middle covered. And Young with a little hurdle at the line, and then we'll scramble for another few yards. Doubt that was designed, but, you know, that's what happened. So we're going with it. As we get it out to Hubbard, trying to get to the outside. He makes it 3rd and 1. Need a first down here, but it's 2-down territory, because why not? It's Akers. As he's trying to bounce it to the outside, he gets the edge. A good block downfield from the receiver, a stiff arm, and scampering out at the 24. That was definitely the best run we've seen from Akers as his time with the team. It's not a very long time, just a few games, plus not a lot of snaps out there. As we get this one out, it's a little bit late, but we do find Jordan Thomas down at the 7. However, Tampa Bay challenging the catch. They're saying we did not get that second foot in, and I think they're right. So a mistake from the rookie. This is not college ball. Got to get 2 in. We change up the look. It's an ace backfield. As we have a couple options, Hayden Hurst was maybe working his way open, but either way, a sack is timely. Of course, still rocking with the 4-down territory, leaves 3rd and 10. No problem for us. This is just kind of what we do. As we have a couple different options, though, pass rush is working back there, and it's Tryon Shoyinka. Just another time in which Young gets dropped. And the 2-minute warning also hits. We got 4th and 22. Of course, we're going for it, though. We got several options going deep, a couple crossing routes. As we're trying to work things open, we have our guy, but it's overthrown. Laviska Chenault did his job there. Need a better throw from Young. And clearly, we got to go back to the drawing board with this team for sure. Right now, they're just not getting the job done, though. A great stop there from Tristan Hill. We brought in a lot of younger guys on the younger half of their careers. Hopefully, or hoping, that one of them would kind of stake claim and kind of become a part of the future of this team, but we're definitely not seeing as good of play as we were hoping for. So we might just, on top of going back to the drawing board, have to shift focus for what we expect from this team. Are we expecting too much from a very raw, talented squad? As we do get a good stop there from Stockton and Oliver, we got some time left. Let's call a timeout. Now, at least one bright spot today has been Chuba Hubbard. He's over 125 yards, around the 130. He's done everything we've asked him to do. Unfortunately, he can't just be the whole team. As we go across the middle, it's Mingo picking up a nice catch. We'll call that second timeout. We got 12 seconds left. We could get another play to the sideline, save that timeout, then another shot. Who knows? Then we might have an actual shot towards the end zone. Although everyone's kind of covered, goes to the one-on-one, and it's not really even a one-on-one. It's 1-on-0, but in favor of the defense. But we knew that Young was not a deep ball kind of guy, and today, in the last few weeks, we've been forced to be a deep ball team just because we can't get anything else going. As we scramble here, it will end the play or end the game on a big slam down. Probably going to be another fine coming from this game, but there is a whole lot for us to try to sort out with this team, and it might just have to be, again, lowering expectations. We expected to be a playoff caliber team due to our division, but clearly in our first game in division, it really didn't look all too different from the big games against the top dogs, in which we still got blown out 31-7. We at least had more yards than the Buccaneers. We just could not keep possession in the red zone. Again, in that first half, we had, like 3 red zone opportunities, of which we just couldn't do anything. In fact, does it give us how many times we were down there? No, just it tells us our percentage. We missed out on a whole lot of opportunities. Defensively, we continue to just not do a whole lot. We did better in the second half, I will say that, but by far we're still missing a lot from the defense. And it's a second straight game in which we gave another guy an opportunity as the edge guy, Braxton Fitzgerald. And again, he didn't record a single stat. No solo, no assist, nothing, no tackles for a loss, no sacks. All he did was have snaps, and he didn't do anything with it. So we're probably going to be going back to Gross Matos. We have DJ Johnson, who we haven't given a chance yet. We could try that. He's a younger guy in his second season, but he's an older younger guy, if I remember correctly. He's at least like 24, 25 already this season. So we are just not generating any pass rush at all. And we faced some really good offensive linemen, I will say that, but this defense has got to step up. CJ Gardner-Johnson really isn't doing anything out there. Horn isn't being a playmaker either, so we have a lot of work to do. And we have a couple more weeks before it's trade deadline, and we got to decide if we're buyers or sellers. Already, I'm pretty much thinking we're sellers. But next time, it is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are also 1-3. They have an 81 offense and 85 defense. Luckily for us, we're going to be against a lesser, maybe, defense, as we have another breakout opportunity for a running back. That's clearly going to be Chuba Hubbard. He was close to 150 total yards today. He was our offense. Outside of him, it was Hayden Hurst, and then really nobody. And we definitely have to start leaning on Hubbard, as we were wanting to do earlier in this Buccaneers game. But due to the 3 turnovers that all ended up in points, we had to get away from that. And it still ended up being a good game from Hubbard, but we've got to be able to control what we do out there and not have to continually adapt to what other teams are doing. Defense, sure, you could adapt, but offense, you got to be able to have the game flow in your way, and if the offense gets going, I'm sure the defense will step up. So I'm sure there's going to be a couple more roster changes depending on who's starting where. Definitely going to probably start focusing more and more on these young guys as the season starts to slip further and further away. Luckily for us, though, the Saints are 0-4 and the Buccaneers and Falcons are 2-2. So by no means is this season done. We have a weak division, but we've got to do better in division, and hopefully we will next time. With a boost back against the Steelers, hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down, hit the subscription button. They both do the same thing, and subscribe to this channel so you do not miss what is next for this Carolina Panthers team, and definitely tick that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, with the state-only challenge currently Michigan every Wednesday and Saturday. So you guys got a whole lot of videos coming to you every single week, plus the shorts highlighting what we can from these series. Even when we score 10, 14, or 7 points, we find something to highlight, as we did a little bit in that game. Look for another bounce back. Hopefully 3rd or 4th time will be the charm.